All right. Hello, everybody. I guess this is episode one of Infinity. And I guess I'll try to explain what the point of this is and what we're doing and why we're doing it. So this is going to be me, Russell, along with my coworker, Caitlin, who's in this chat as well. She might pop in at some point. She's on mute right now. We are going to be, I guess, live coding a project from start to finish in its entirety, and capturing that and saving it as like this series of videos in the hopes that it's maybe insightful or revealing to some people in terms of how our process works, specifically my workflow. And this really give everybody a sense of what goes into a project from start to finish if you haven't seen it before. And if you have, I mean, maybe we can compare notes and I'll get better. Yeah, so I've done a very small amount of work prior to this first episode, mostly just picking out what the story is. And that's really about it. So to start things off, I'll just kind of give you I guess, a little debrief of where I'm at and what the plan for today is and future episodes. Hopefully this turns into a real project. Oftentimes our projects involve doing a little bit of data research and collection, and we might find that it doesn't actually yield anything, but I'm pretty optimistic that this will turn into a full-blown visual story. So if not, we'll at least go through the motions that we always do. Okay, so to start, this project is about death and Wikipedia. So I guess I'm going to just be calling this like Wiki Death as like a shorthand to refer to this project. And just to catch you up, I guess this all started with me thinking about how I could actually use Wikipedia data for a story. I don't usually start with data as my entry point. I usually start with a question, but I kind of challenged myself to work in reverse. So that was really the starting point here. And then I guess kind of the trigger happened when two triggers. I was watching Westworld, and you can see this awesome Westworld quote here from Akecheta. You only live as long as the last person to remember you. So that kind of stuck with me a little bit. And then at the same time, I was looking through Wikipedia. My coworker earlier mentioned the traffic data that they've been putting out. So let me toggle over here. So this is the page view analysis that Wikipedia has. They have a whole bunch of different public tools, and this is one of them. So I started looking at this and just playing around. And one of the first things that jumped out at me was, and this is actually today, the top search in terms of page views is FIFA World Cup, which is no surprise. And the second one right now is actually this guy, Richard Benjamin Harrison, who I do not know. And if we take a look at him, he just passed away yesterday. And I actually kind of started looking back through some dates, and I noticed this trend that atop this page views rank was often a recently deceased person. Most of the time they're a celebrity. And it kind of got me thinking about this quote that I initially mentioned. You only live as long as the last person to remember you. And I was curious if we could use Wikipedia as a proxy kind of for this idea. So when someone dies, how long do they kind of remain in the public eye, and what does that, I guess, rate of decay look like over time? And so that's the idea in a nutshell. You can see I started writing down some thoughts, synthesizing this idea. Usually I try to approach it from a question standpoint, as I mentioned. So I have questions about, like, do different people have different rates? Do they go up? Do they go down? Who are the anomalies? That type of thing. Does the type of death or like where they were in the career have an influence? All that stuff. The next thing that happened is I pitched this story to our team, and I put down just a couple notes from our team during the feedback session. And they more or less said, yeah, keep going forward with it. It's kind of interesting, I guess. So that's where we are now. And the next step is to actually think about how to get this data, because there's not just a list of the page views and the people who died all in one place, nice and tidy. So we have to create that ourselves. So this is where we're at right now. So I've kind of outlined the process for how I'm going to plan on collecting this data. And that actually starts, there's a couple of ways I could have done it, but I think the best way to start is actually with a list of people who have died. And this is actually very convenient because if we check out the 2018 wiki page, it actually keeps a running list for every single day of people that pass away. And it's super comprehensive. I haven't heard of most of the people on here. So the odds that someone notable and like that everyone knows is on here is probably like 100%. So I mean, this is just 2018, and you can scroll through and see this is just January, February. So there's lots of people. So I think step one is going to be basically extracting all the people from these pages. Then the next step is to actually get the daily page views of each of those people since X until Y, whatever that means. I don't know what that means, between two dates. And then finally get more meta information on each person. So we might be able to get stuff like cause of death, definitely the year range, images if we want to use them, that type of thing. And then I started just putting some links to places for data. So that analytics data, they have a page that kind of goes into detail about what type of data they have when they have it. And so actually one of the things I noticed is that they have reliable data. And actually it's not since May for some reason, according to the API, it's since July 1st, 2015, which will actually give us exactly 3 years of data, which is pretty nice. We could go back further, but it might involve trying to compare apples and oranges a little bit in terms of their collection process. So I think 3 years will be sufficient. And then, yeah, just a couple other links. This is to the API. I mentioned this already. And then started thinking about things like normalizing the data, just like notes to myself, normalizing the data by the traffic, because there's going to be variation in terms of the overall traffic to Wikipedia. So we should account for that. Thinking about seasonality in terms of the data. So this is one of my favorite pieces where you can adjust seasonally what the data looks like, which can kind of reveal different trends. And then I started doing a little bit of searching just on GitHub and NPM, looking for people that have already created wrappers for these APIs, because I'm certainly not the first person to want to do something with Wikipedia data. So I found this one, which is a wrapper for the page views API. It looks pretty straightforward. You basically just plug in the name of the article, a start and end date, and it should give you the results. And then we've got a couple that are for more just generic Wikipedia queries. So this one has a decent number of stars and seems to be updating. I mean, 4 days ago, so it's definitely active. It seems pretty well documented. And then there's just another one that also seems like it might be useful. And again, this is probably for getting stuff that's on a specific person's page, and maybe actually even helping with scraping this page as well. I guess we'll find out. So yeah, that's basically the story in a nutshell. The rest of this is just going to be kind of a very transparent look at what goes into making the story. It'll be a lot of me Googling stuff and making tons of mistakes and errors, and maybe browsing Reddit occasionally and looking at YouTube videos, hopefully not too much. But yeah, I guess, Caitlin, since you're here, anything worth worth adding, or any questions before we get into actual some code?
Yeah, I have like a general question that might be useful. I don't think you mentioned, where did you originally come across this like API of data since May 2015?
So it started with looking at this. I basically just looked for, I did a Google search for Wikipedia analytics data, and I found this link. And this, I mean, this has that answer in there, but then I actually looked at the, where is the documentation? I found another link. Here we go. This has all page view information documented here. And so I found this, which led me to the page view API, where you can look at all the different, I guess, endpoints. And so like, here we go. It basically, you just plug in the project. Let's see, we actually just want users. And then here we go. I tested Cardi B. And you have to just give it a start and endpoint. So I just started plugging in different things. And I try it out, and then it gives you the link. Paste it in here. And there we go. And so it's like, oh, sweet, this is perfect. And then the way I found that it was actually July 1st is I started going back in time, and I was like, okay, let's go to like 2015. And actually, she wasn't even on Wikipedia until like 2017. So let's pick someone like Michael Jordan. So yeah, I basically tried to look for Michael Jordan through like early 2015. And the first thing that it returned was 2015, 07, 01. So, and I tested a bunch of different people and pages, and that's how I figured it out. Make sense?
Yeah, cool. So you're like it started with being interested in using Wikipedia data and then looking farther into the internet to actually find an API that had that Wikipedia data. It wasn't that you came across the API first.
Exactly.
Cool.
All right, so that brings us to where we are now. So now let's actually put in. All right, so I'm going to be using Node. And actually, I'm going to be talking probably a lot this episode, and I'm sure I'll be talking less and less as I realize that it takes a lot of hours to put a project together. So yeah, I guess bear with me. But yeah, first things first, I create a folder. So let's see, let's call it. And I'll have all these repos available online so everyone can like check in, and I'll put the commits in each YouTube video so you can kind of stay synced with the videos. So yeah, we start with folder, and let's get in there. And as I mentioned, I'm using Node. I'm on Node 10, which is definitely the latest, but it doesn't really matter. If you're not familiar with Node, I guess consider this a very, very big crash course into how you can use it for data processing. We've written a few stories, but like I know Caitlin uses R and Python, Amber on our team uses R, Ilya uses Python, Matt uses MySQL. So you can really use whatever you want. I'm most comfortable with Node, so that's what we're using. So I'm going to create a new project, and we can see it just creates a package folder, package JSON file. And let's go ahead and also just create a JavaScript file, and let's open our project. I'm using Visual Studio Code or Visual Code Studio. Never get that in the right order. Visual Studio Code.
It's my favorite IDE too.
All right, so we don't have anything right now. I guess the first thing we're going to want to do, let's check out some of those Node modules that we found here and see what it can do for us. So let's check out, sure, let's try this one. All right, so let's install it first. And I'm totally checking my Slack right now, so hopefully you shouldn't be able to see it. I told you this is going to be like really how I work, so you'll get all the breaks like that. All right, so let's install it. It's called Wiki.js. Save that, so that saves the module to our package JSON. You'll see there it is. So when someone else installs it, it has that as a dependency. And now let's go ahead and require it. And because we're using the required syntax, we have to say that default. And let's just go ahead and copy the test code just to make sure that we're kicking. And to run it, I'll just do node index.js. There we go, it worked. First thing I always do is we want to create some script definitions here. So the start script will be node index.js. So now same thing, it just has like an alias for it. Great. Now let's actually start looking at their documentation, because what we want to do first, I suppose, is pull down. Actually, let's look at a person's page. I'm kind of curious. It's gonna be underscore now. Let's start with edit. Page. So they're using promises, by the way. That's what this .then syntax looks like, if you're not familiar. All right, so let's see here. We're doing a wiki page. Probably want to get the content. Actually, let's see what a summary looks like. Oh, there it is. That's easy enough. So we can just turn page summary, and it will then log it out, it looks like. Awesome. That totally worked. So that's cool. That's summary. Let's look what else it has. Full info. Full info. Oh, nice. It returns the object. Oh, great. This is perfect. That looks like it has some useful stuff in it. It has their birth date, has some things she does. That could be useful. And then I'm assuming it also, we can probably just grab the entire content, which would be equivalent of just scraping the page. I don't think it has all Wikipedia. Yeah, HTML. I don't think Wikipedia has everything in terms is like structured, so we might have to do some scraping of our own. This, I imagine, is going to be a huge dump. Yes, that's lovely. So actually, let's if we just actually write that out, we can maybe take a look at it. So we need to just use the file system module, and we don't have to install that. We can write a file, a test.html, HTML. And they wrote everything there. Let's just sweet. So obviously, like the relative links and stuff aren't working, but this clearly has, looks like, the entirety of Cardi B's Wikipedia page. So that will definitely be useful. Okay, let's kind of get back on track. Let me delete some other things. And then you still with me?
Yes. I forgot I was on mute.
It's all good. All right, so Okay. I'll try to think out loud. I usually don't think out loud. So I know I need to get 2018 deaths. I'm going to be wanting to get a couple years. But like, there's this point where when I know there's only going to be like 3 of these links, 2018, 17, 4 of them, I guess through 15. At a certain point, it's like a little over engineering to script it out. So I'm wondering if it just makes sense to like download these pages HTML rather than automate it all. Well, first let's see if we can actually grab it from the API. So let's start on 2018. Okay, so let's see what happens with 2018.
Russell.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So the goal right now is to first get these 2018 deaths pages, 2017 deaths pages, so we can save it. Then we can run through all the celebrities on it and then get their individual HTML pages and stuff, correct?
That's the first and third step. The second step is to take the individual celebrities and well, actually the second step is to download all the top page views. Wait, is it? No, the second step is to get each individual celebrity who's died and their page views dating back through 2015. Then the third step is to query them. If we're not going to query all the people and get more information for them, we'll probably only do the ones that have like certain thresholds of page views. So we'll only be doing the interesting ones.
Got it. So the ones that are not as popular, that'll be eliminated by the threshold.
Yeah, definitely. Because then that would just be kind of unnecessary. Because I'm not sure how many celebrities are on here, but it looks like it would be to the tunes of thousands.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know, maybe high hundreds. But regardless, no sense in querying stuff that we know is not going to be included.
Exactly.
Okay, so yes, thank you for keeping me on task. I'll often do this. I'll start looking at things, and then I'll end up in like this totally other place.
You know, I'm like a recapper. I'm like, all right, where are we right now? Let's recap.
The hell are we? Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and just look at 2018 returns. That's a lot of stuff. Let's open that again. I lost it. And I'm still, where is my Finder window? That seems like it worked. Cool. We got that. I mean, honestly, that's like the same thing as me just downloading the page. I guess we could just write, you just write a quick little script. So let's say, yeah. So basically, I would usually create a different file for each like actual task. So if I were to repeat it, it would be very clear, and it wouldn't be like 100 different things happening at once. Also, actually, let's see if the API has any way we can actually get at this structured wise. I don't think it's going to be the case, but who knows? Like it has HTML. That's definitely not going to be in the info box. Content. I wonder where content is. Oh, that's everything. But we're going to want the links, and that looks like it's just actually like the text. So that's not super useful. We could also see there's a links. That sounds like it's going to literally grab all the links, which might be interesting, but we also might not be able to distinguish. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's not going to be useful. All right, it looks like we're going to have to do some scraping anyways. So let's see. Let's just start by, actually, let me go down to that page that we just downloaded. Go back to it. Yes, okay, I had deaths, and here we go. So basically, all right, let me try to recap what we were about to do or what we've done. We're downloading the page for each year, and this is 2018. And then we're going to first thing we're going to do is download 4 different pages, one for each of the 4 years. And then we're going to write a little basically scraper that will extract, hopefully, this pertinent information so we can have a little database of people. So we're going to rename this file actually. We'll call it download year pages. I like to be fairly descriptive when possible. And let's see, so we actually, since again, it's going to be pretty hard coded, we'll say concierge is, hey, it's small enough we can just actually type them in. And 18. Okay. And also I'm going to download them and save them locally because there's no sense in just like constantly querying the page because that'll just take longer than dealing with a local file. So might as well just save them down. So yeah, we can just say, we can do that. Well, I don't care. Usually I do this so it's like a waterfall method where we wait for one and then the other, but we can just kind of loop through them all. And so we'll say use for each. And we'll create a function called load. Oh my goodness, function down here. And all right, so we have this function called download, which expects a year. And so years.for each will loop over this array and call download, passing the year as the parameter. We will tell Wiki to query that page. Then we will grab the HTML. I'll do this on a one-liner. And then we're going to write it out, but we want it to be dynamic. So we actually want to call it here.html and response. Let's create an output folder. Output. That's how you spell output. And inside of output, actually, I guess I'll show another thing I always do. I use derp. So it basically just like makes the directory if it doesn't exist already, which is a good thing to do if you're scripting this, because then if Caitlin wants to run this on her machine, she can get the same results without any weird errors. So make derp equals require. And so basically the first thing we'll do is make derp output slash your pages. And actually, let's go ahead and just say that's variable const output equals output dir. Oops. Okay. That looks okay. Let's see how we did. And I actually have to so that's not a thing anymore. We'll call it download. Just call it what it is, download your pages. Also, now I decided I'm going to put this, we're going to have a lot of scripts. So I'm actually going to create a scripts folder. Download scripts. Okay. I think we're good here. We'll find out.
I have a syntax question, Russell.
Absolutely.
Why do you prefer to why do you prefer to like put things in individual variables and functions and things like that?
Like this? Or like which one specifically?
Just in general, like why wouldn't you just like write in the output directory and like stuff like that instead of saving into its own variable?
Because once I realize that I'm going to be typing the same thing twice, it makes sense to just use it as a variable, because if I wanted to change this, I don't have to then be like, oh, shoot, change it in 5 different places. So that's why. Basically, yeah, it's, what's it called? It's called keeping it dry. So yeah, that's why. All right, let's run this and then get errors and then see what happens. And let me just actually clear the terminal. npm run download your pages. That was fast. Hey, look at that. And they seem like they're good. Let's just double check. Nice.
Yay.
So we've got those all locally. Let's go ahead and try to extract that information from the HTML. This should be fun. So I usually use Cheerio. So let's install that. Oh, and we should actually, while we're doing this, we should be setting up a GitHub repo, because I shouldn't be writing a bunch of stuff without checking it in. That would be bad of me. New repository. I think that was the button. What are we going to call this? Wiki Death data. Finish this. And then let me also touch git ignore. Basically make sure we are not committing our node modules and node modules. That annoying .ds store that always shows up. Shoot, is it _s? I think it's capital. I think sometimes I don't commit the output, so then like whoever is running it will be able to just generate it and have them themselves. I think I'm going to do that for now, but we can always change it up. And let's go ahead and create a README.
You have to start with the quote, Russell.
For what?
In the README.
I have to. Oh, I have to put the quote in there. You're like, you need to put an actual quote. A quotation mark. All right, nice, in there. So let's see. I have a thing called GAC, which does git add and commit all at once. So it's just a quick shorthand. So let's say setup, and we need to add the origin and awesome. All right, we've got it all in here. Oops, let me remove test. Business being there. Okay. We've installed Cheerio, I believe. Yep, it's there. Let me show you Cheerio. It's basically lets you we have no issues. It basically lets you do kind of jQuery like querying on the DOM, but from Node. So you can see you basically load HTML and you save it to a $sign, and it looks pretty similar. You have selectors and you can grab the text and do all sorts of things. Has class, blah, blah, blah. All right, so we're good with this one. Let's go ahead and create a new script, and we'll call this parse year pages. And we're definitely gonna want the file system. We'll want that. And actually, we don't even need this. Oh, we did use that. And then we're also gonna want Cheerio. All right. So let's see the best way to do this. Let's start by, well, let's create an init function because I imagine there's gonna be a couple steps here. And automatically kick off the init function. And the first thing I want to do is fs.read sync. So we want to read the contents of year pages. So but pages. So let's look at that. Off. Let's just log it out. So that's just gonna read the directory. And actually, let's add a on. Cool. So that's what we think's in there. Sometimes a little sneaky, what's it called? Hidden file might be in there. So just to make sure, we'll map over results and only return stuff that includes an HTML extension. So that will be 100% sure that we're only going to be reading in. This is going to be the same thing. Oh, that's not what we meant to do. We didn't want to map, we wanted to filter. So we'll only return stuff where the file name has HTML in it. There you go. All right. So we now know the things that we want. So I guess the next thing to do is call, I guess, like a parse page function, or maybe extract names. That's maybe better. Extract people. And so we actually want to say files dot map. So we're going to map over each of those files, and actually we need to load the files first. We can do that. No, we'll do this first. So we'll map over each file and actually just say extract, call the extract people function. Function extract people. It expects a file. And again, I already noticed I'm going to be reusing this. So now we want to actually read that file in. So let's see, const HTML equals, this is the ES6 template literal string thing, which I find much better than using like plus signs and concatenation. So we actually want to say fs.read file sync, which takes the path and then options for encoding and stuff. I usually throw on like a UTF-8, but I'm going to see if it's fine without it. All right, let's just see what happens. I read the buffer. But we just want to load that to Cheerio. Let's see. Actually, maybe we do need to do UTF-8. I don't even know anymore. Anyways, that's safe. Yes. And let's just do a simple
Russell, I have a Cheerio question, a very general one. So I'm not super, sorry if it's kind of loud behind me. I'm not super familiar with jQuery. Is the point, and I'm pretty sure you said this, the point of Cheerio essentially allowing you to use jQuery syntax in Node?
Yeah, and it's really just, and it looks like jQuery, and that's what a lot of people are familiar with, but it's really just allowing you to access the DOM in Node, because Node is not in the browser, right? So it doesn't have those things like document.query selector built in. So basically, this is just a library that lets you access HTML like it is in the browser.
That makes sense.
Okay, so in theory, this is selecting the body and grabbing all the text in that and logging it out. Let's see if that worked. I haven't used Cheerio in a while, so. Oh yeah. So this should just be like tons and tons of text. So that's good. That means we're loading in the content and we're able to access it. So that's all good stuff. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is just going to work on a single file right now. Because it'll be a little easier as we kind of debug and process, and then we'll just add the rest of them back in. So actually, I'm just going to throw on a slice here. So it'll only do a single one. Yeah, okay. So now let's actually, do we have one of those pulled up still? Let's go ahead and look for some like IDs that we can target to maybe start like scoping this down. So I'm assuming these are all anchor links. So hopefully, only 2 famous people were born this year, huh? Okay. Perfect. So this has ID death. So we should be able to start there. So I think it was capital. So that just selects deaths. Now I'm realizing it. We actually don't want that because we want everything that's after that. So that's annoying. Let's see. Oh man, this is terrible. H3, January. We don't care about the thumbnails. There we go. That's what we want, the UL. But of course, there's no ID or class or anything. Okay. So let's see here. We definitely can use this as like a starting point. Let's see, H2, that's on the same level.
So nothing is contained into deaths, but we can use it as like a marker of when the people's names are going to actually start.
Yeah, so right now I'm thinking we find deaths because that's the only thing I see here with an ID. And then we look for the first UL. Let's see if is that everything. Oh no! So then we have to look through all the ULs. Okay. Until we hit references. Okay, this will be a fun challenge. So let me just make sure that's consistent across all of them.
And it looks like the dates are also list items within the UL too.
Sometimes. So like, see, this one has a list within, this one I bet has a UL within the LI. Yep. So sometimes they'll be like this, or was that? This one doesn't. So that'll be another fun thing. Okay. But yeah, this looks like it has the same format, and make sure it ends. Oh no, this one has Nobel Prizes. So we'll have to find some other. Let's see. I mean, this has December. Where's that? Okay, December 2. What the hell does that mean? Where's December 1? December 1. Is this just notable dates? Ah, okay. Oh, okay. That might be cleaner. So we could just loop through all the months, knowing that. And now let's go to 18 again to make sure that's again consistent. I imagine Wikipedia, they have like thousands of templates, so I'm assuming this is totally templated. So this, my guess would be ID January 2. Okay, we're good. I think that's the best way to do it. So basically, loop through all the months. So like month _2, and then navigate up, because for some reason it's inside a span. Navigate up to H3, and then find the nearest UL, or the next sibling that's a UL. And then we can start looping through that. So this was more complicated than I thought. All right. So first we need a list of months. CSV, I don't know. I mean, I could probably have typed them out by now. That's not helpful.
Constant. Should I do it manual or should I do it automatically? Struggle.
I know. Ones equals. I have to type them all up. January, February, March, April, May, July, August. Oh, that one has double quotes. July, August, September.
I'm always more inclined to do manual now, because after I individually scraped all the Office scripts last summer, and it probably would have been easier to copy and paste them. You know, like I should have done it manually.
Yeah, but it's much more rewarding doing it this way.
You're right. When you get it all to work.
All right, and plus, like, I don't trust my typing, so like I could have typed April wrong or something. It looks good though. Okay. We've got the months. Let's start by just, let's see if my theory is right. So it's just a anyway, it's months of 0. _2. Yes. Make sure our selector is working. Awesome. Really test it out. Beautiful. All right. So we're able to select that. So now what we really want to do, and we'll actually want to loop through, right? We'll still just do it on the first one for now. Let's go to Cheerio, because basically we want to get the parent. So let's first see if there is a parent thing. Perfect. So now we've selected the parent. Option filter selector. And now let's see, we're on the parent, which is, so this is the ID, H3 is the parent. So now I believe the UL is a sibling. So let's see how we can find that. closest for each element. So the first element matches. No, that's not what we want. I don't think. We want to move laterally, not up and down. This looks like it might work. Next, the element matched by the selector option. Well, let's just look at what next returns. Let's start there. Because otherwise we can navigate up one more parent and then just do a find, but that might be, no, that wouldn't actually make sense. All right, parent dot next. Call the selector, and I don't know what happens when you actually log out a selector, so let's see what happens. It found something. It looks like it found the next H3 tag, which makes sense because it's only finding it of the same type. That's annoying. Also, if I'm totally missing something, Caitlin, you're definitely allowed to to chime in.
Sounds good.
Got the first one that matches this select. Let's try closest. Closest. And because I don't have an easy way of inspecting it, let me just, again, about the text. Nothing. Oh, it didn't find anything. Parents.
I'm looking through now too.
Awesome. I'm pretty sure I don't have to do a selector again on the thing. Like, let's see. Parent. I don't know if I have to do this. That's the same, I think. And all right, so maybe let's see.
So these like next selectors won't work because it's a different type because it's a UL and we want a list, right?
We're in H3 and we want a UL.
And we want a UL. So we can't, I'm like looking at the like documentation and it says next until and it's putting in a class name. So we couldn't put in UL instead of a class name, right?
No, not if it specifically says class name.
Got it.
Next until, no, a selector. A selector can be a UL, but I'm pretty sure again that this is only looking for all the following. I don't think I'm pretty sure sibling means it's of the same type. Unless I'm totally wrong, but I think it does.
That makes sense.
Like if we just do, like actually what happens when we just do log parent next Oh, this returns a lot more things. Oh, that might be it. Look at that. It's returning a bunch more stuff. That might have been the ticket next all. Get all the following siblings.
Then we can filter it down from everything that we just returned.
So actually, that's what next looks like. So I wonder why maybe I didn't even try that one. Next. Let's try this again. No, I still didn't like it. All right, whatever. Let's go with next all. And then we'll just basically pop out the first. Oh, let's also see if this one works. Oh, I think that worked. So that just grabbed all. I wonder why next didn't work. Whatever. I'm not going to argue with it. So say, can we just grab the first one? Because we know it's going to be, I think it's EQ. Yes, EQ is 0, I think. All right. So in theory, this is the UL we're looking for. Parent dot next all UL dot EQ of 0. That seems to be a lot of them still. What is it? Is there like a size or a length? How many things we're dealing with? One. Oh, okay. Work then, because there should be more than one. Yes. Okay. So now we've got our UL. Let's go ahead and loop through all. So what is it? UL dot find. I think it's find. Yeah. UL dot find li. I think it's a dot each function. Yep, which takes an index and then the element. Just go ahead and say L dot text. Let's see if we're on the right track here. This is where I remember for some reason you have to like Cheerio select it again. I don't, and for some reason this one you don't, I think. Just, yeah, awesome. Woo, look at that. So January 1st, which is interesting to note that that is actually an LI within this new thing. We got a whole bunch of people, other dates. This looks great. Also, you can really tell, like, see, these ones are clearly, oops. You got these ones are nested, and then these are the individual ones. So we'll have to handle that for sure. But this is good. We're on the right track. Okay, so let's go back to our thing here. All right, so we've got the UL. And let's look at the first one. We've got an href link to, what's it called? The pages thing. We've got the actual person. So that's what we really want. Actually, we want the title, it looks like. Let's look at like Jerry Van Dyke. I'm pretty sure we'll probably grab both just in case, but and then actually we're gonna want that too, because then we have the birth year and death year all in one. We can save that data. So okay, so that's one of the flat ones. Let's look at, let's see, so that was a flat one. let's look at a nested one, like January 4th. January 4th. Oh, okay. So basically, if it has a UL in it, so that's easy enough. And I think there is a has. Yep. So basically, there's two different ways we want to process it, right? There is if L dot has a UL or if it doesn't. So if it has a UL, we'll want to do one thing, else another thing. And actually, I don't like getting super nested like this. So I'd probably turn this into its own function. So this is specifically looping through each li tag and extracting the people. We already have a function called extract people. Let's call this like parse li. And again, it takes an index element. Okay, parsley. However, that's annoying because this you can't map. I don't think you can map. Oh, you can map. Sweet. So instead of doing each, we're going to do map. So we return a value here. Or it'll be output. And eventually it will return an object, which let's decide how we want that to look. It'll be name, it'll be link, it'll be, what else do we want to return? I suppose month. Actually, we can modify that down here where we know the month. Year of birth. And anything else notable in there? I think there was. We can probably, it has who they are, which might be useful because that's a nice little succinct summary. So we'll actually call it a description. I'm going to comment this out for now. And just go through and make sure this new format is working. Actually, I'm not even going to log. Yeah, that's fine. Selection. I'm going to have to probably use that a couple times. Oh, interesting, because it's defined here. That's frustrating. So I suppose, let's see, let's just then, when we map over, we'll just have to pass the information in here. L, and we'll say parse li. Don't care about the index, I don't think. So we'll just pass it to element and, oh, let's just pass it to selector. Okay, we're back to where we were, but now it'll be a little more approachable. Okay, so we've got this. Now we want to do the whole has thing. Actually, let's get rid of all this code. So if cell.has UL, we want to do one thing, else do another thing. And I'm just going to keep like slowly testing. That's totally not true. Interesting. Like this one definitely doesn't have a UL, right? It doesn't. Oops. Oh, I thought it was a truthy. But it really just filters. Well, we can also do L dot find UL dot length. We should return 0 or 1. We'll deal with that. Perfect. Cool. Okay. So if L.find UL.length, if there is a UL, basically, because if it's 0, it's going to be false. Else, okay, that works. So if it does, let's ignore that one because that's more common. We basically are going to do the same thing. And if it doesn't, let's actually go ahead and extract it. So here's one that doesn't. We've got 3 A tags. So the first one is the date of death. The second is their name, and also, you know, it's fresh, whatever, and the summary. Actually, that's not inside of an A tag, is it? That's just kind of free floating. And the third thing is the year. All right, so let's grab the easy thing. So January 1 is, so let's see, const date of death. And the only reason I'm using on this instead of camel case is because I for some reason when I write out my CSVs and stuff, I like them with underscores rather than camel case. So this is cell dot a dot each. I think we'll grab us the first one. Text. And let's just go ahead and see if that's doing what I think it's doing. Oh. Wait, are we on the wrong? Which year are we using? Are we using 2015? Ulrich. Wait. Oh, wait. That's just weird. Ulrich shouldn't have. Is that possibly a string? That can't be. Oh. Because it's finding all LIs. So it's not just looking for the top level LIs, it's looking for all of them. So actually, I think that makes my life easier actually, because then we don't have to get the nested ones. We can basically just ignore the ones that, okay. Oh, just okay. I got it. So if it has a UL, then we just don't do anything because we know it's going to be looped over eventually because this one is okay. I was overthinking this. But really, we just want to say if it doesn't find an LI, go ahead and do your thing. Does that make sense? Do you understand why?
Yeah, because it's finding, it doesn't matter if it's nested or not, it's finding every LI.
Yeah, so it'd be redundant to then look through the ULs within the LIs because the LIs are, okay.
I have a small question. When it's like a tiny question, what command are you hitting to like format it nice in VS Code?
Oh, I have a thing. I think
it's an extension, right? I feel like you've talked about this before.
It's an extension. I think it's prettier.
It just makes it nice so you can like see it better.
So yeah, whenever you save it, just automatically will format your code for you.
Got it. Nice. Okay.
So like you don't have to write semicolons; it knows where to put them in. So for the most part, it nails it, and you can configure it for things like your personal preferences too.
Nice.
It's also great for teams because then everybody is going to be in the same kind of style. So then if you're collaborating,
it's consistent.
Exactly.
Love it.
All right. Oh, back to the code. We're almost there. So now okay. So let's see if this works. I don't think that's doing what I thought it was going to be doing.
It's still finding the years or the months and the day.
Oh, yeah. That's okay. Is that okay?
Is it okay?
I don't know.
I've lost track of the structure.
Yeah, me too. Let me just go ahead and console.log cell.text. This should just be January. Okay. So let's look at these side by side. So we've got Ulrich. And so it didn't log out January 1st here. Oh no, this perfectly works. I forgot that these ones were baked in to the thing.
I was about to say, are we still getting Edward Brooke eventually or no? Is it just like, you see how it says January 3rd, Edward Brooke?
Yes, we want him. I forgot that these ones have the date baked into the
UL.
So let's see. So that should be easy enough to just pop off. Okay. So we actually do still care.
We still need the if statement.
Yes, that's the only reason. So we can basically just say like, oh, okay, grab the, that's an event. Instead of don't grab the first A tag, grab the second A tag.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. So that's the only thing we want to use that for. Okay, so const has it. Oh, it does have a date. If it doesn't find one of those, it has date like baked in. That's basically what I mean.
If it has a date, we want to pull the second, right? And if it doesn't have a date, we just pull the first.
If it has a date, actually, right? Because we still only want to go through it if it. I guess has date is not the best. Let's just keep it has UL. So if it has a UL, that's the only time we actually want to go through it. And the only difference for this is the EQ is if it has a UL, it is 0. No.
Wait.
Okay. Yeah. So no UL, right? Okay, better. Is person.
Yes.
If it is a person, we want to go through it, but if it actually, we can just find the number of A tags because if it's 3 or 4, so we'll actually just say const A tags equals I should say that so we can reuse it, and then const a dot length. Now we simply say a dot length equals this magic number of 4. Say const. And actually, we'll probably just offset them all. Whatever. Def index equals num a tags equal to 4. We actually want it to be 1. Otherwise, we want it to be 0. Index. Whew. You follow?
Yes.
And I probably shouldn't use a magic number, or actually confident. There are 4 A tags when the date is baked in.
So your magic number rule is that if it's like only 1, you'll just put a comment to remind yourself what that magic number is.
I guess. Usually I won't do magic numbers. Usually I'll have like them hard coded as constants somewhere, yeah. But for this specific case, it's not worth it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
This makes sense. It was just finding that magical condition that we needed.
So let's see, in theory. And so actually date of death, that's totally wrong. It's actually now, that's not at all. The first thing is going to be their name. That's their name.
Person name.
That's name. See if we did this. So close, but so far. So I totally didn't nail that.
Yeah, it's still not catching.
1. Well, this one, it got 1, 2. Oh, wait, it still only has 3. How's that possible? Oh, it has 2.
Oh, because their description's not in an A tag.
Right. So it's 2. But I thought 2018. Let me just double check so we're consistent here.
No, I think it was an in because it doesn't have a link. It's just their description.
Right. Okay, we're good. Those are the only 2 links.
Yay.
Woo. Okay.
Yay.
Those are the names of the people, and then let's also grab their let's say name. Let's say name cell, because we actually want to also text. And we want to grab Wikipedia link because see, like that one has some formatting going on for URI encoding. So we also want to grab the href. Ooh, I wonder if it's smarter to grab the title. It's probably the exact same thing. Well, let's grab the attribute. This is how you do that, by the way. And then const link equals, and let's two variables out. There we go. And then what else do we want to grab? This is their year they were born. So that's the other thing I want to do. It would be nice if we could get, well, we know actually this doesn't have the, oh, this does have the month. We don't know the month they were born. Does that matter? That doesn't matter at all. Let's grab the year they were born at least, which is the last one. I wonder if you can get the last one with Cheerio. Last. Oh, awesome.
Cheerio has everything.
Or we could just do EQ -1. All right, so that's the name. So then year of death is, I'm already forgetting what I'm doing.
-1.
Very much. Death, that's all. And let's inspect it again. Just grab the title. We don't care about the link. Attribute. Beautiful.
Love it.
And then I wanted to also grab this day. That's going to be more tricky now, though, right? Because let's see. So case 1 is it's baked in which case it's right there. Case 2 is we have to navigate up 2 parents, and then it's there. Okay, it's not too bad. Maybe just add a little bit of comments. That's probably a good thing. Okay. So now we want to get death. Oh, sorry, this is birth year. What am I doing? Let's say the current year. So the date of death. And let's see here. What did I just say? So we can use the A tags again. So if A tags is equal to 3, then we know we need to navigate up. Otherwise, so let's do the easy one first. So the easy one is when it's baked in. Oh, wait, actually, sorry. That is the one this is the easy one. because we know there's 3 links. And we just grab the first one, and then we grab the title. So let's see. A 0 dot attribute title. And since we're doing it 2 ways, let's just go ahead and create a null thing, and we'll fill it in. So let date of death equals. Otherwise, we need to say self.parent, which that's 2. So if it's this guy, the parent is the UL, but we actually want to get its parent, so it's a double parent. I think the better way is to do like parent until, but I'm gonna do this. Const parent li, and now we can say parent li dot find a dot eq 0 dot title. This is gonna work. Let's see what results we get. Nope. So for those ones, date of death is obviously not his name. So that's not right. Let's go back to 2015. So let's see, Ulrich. Parent. Oh shoot, triple parent. So let me do parents until li. That's probably smarter.
Great grandparent.
Great grandparent. Let me just check parent on parents until. But I don't think it is inclusive. I'm going to triple parent it.
I kind of like the triple parent. Even if it's not the best syntax.
This is really terrible, but it'll end up being less good.
I like it.
I'm ashamed of myself. Oh, no, it still didn't work.
Did it work for some? No.
Oh, no, it worked on the ones that were not nested.
Not nested. Got it.
I thought you could do parent. Let's see. Not log this out, and let's actually. I'm going to go ahead and console.log parent li.text. Holy. That doesn't seem right. Okay, maybe I lied. Let's do parents. Until ul. So that will be, should be that. I think that works. All right. Well, I think this also means this is a good quick break standpoint. So I think I'm going to end the first one here on a down note, which also means it's a good time to step away. But when we come back next time, we'll pick up literally right where we left off and finish off this. And then once we get this, we should just be able to run this for all the years. So hopefully in a matter of minutes, we'll have all the data for the deaths, and then we can go on to the next step of combining that with page views. So if you're still here, thanks for the inaugural episode. And I'll see you for episode 2. Bye.